Okay, hello, and welcome to the viewer. Hey, Robert. Hey, what's up, man? All right. So welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing some shipbuilding. I'm not sure what. I've been working on a few large designs. I'm not particularly happy with any of them, but I'm working on them anyway. I figure you gotta get the bad designs out of the way first. So and large ships aren't something I do a lot. So um I have a couple of large designs. I've got this one here. There's that one in the crosshairs in the distance. It's quite large. So I may be working on these a little bit. I may start a completely new one. I'm not sure, but I do think I'll work a little bit some sort of large ship design. And then I also was thinking I might drop down to the planet and build a an atmospheric miner, maybe like an early game type vehicle. I haven't done that in a while, and I thought it might be a nice change of pace. Um so yeah, let's go. So this is a I'm still wrestling with the idea of a base ship slash like a I'm not really good a good I'm not really sure what a good term is for it. So like I think I have these conflicting ideas. So on the one hand, um this is supposed to be like a mobile base ship, as in like this is all my production um and refinery system and refinery systems. And the idea is, again, going back to the uh, never surrender scenario, is we have a game where we're all spread out in the universe, building up our industry, and the plan is when we're ready, we're going to jump to the station you're supposed to defend. And at that point, we need to have kind of like an instant pop-up infrastructure to support the combat ships or whatever we use to defend against the attacking drones. So, and I know several people, myself included, are building up some pretty large industry. So, um, we want a way to be able to kind of pack it all up and go somewhere, right? And then operate out of that for a different mission. So, um, that's the sort of use case. I don't have a lot of experience creating these sorts of ships, because I always sort of felt like that the because the game loop in Space Engineers is it's very simple and it's very linear. It's a loop, but it's a linear loop, right? Go figure. Um, there's there's kind of only one cycle, right? Mine ore, refine ore to ingots, convert ingots to components, convert components to things. And the only things worth really building are things that let you mine more ore, convert more ore to ingots, convert more ingots to components, right? And that's it. That's the entire game loop of the game. Um, the only other things there are if you want to mine ore and then take your ore, your ingots, or your components and sell them to economy stations in exchange for ore, ingots, or components, right? And I suppose some of the stations smell like a very small handful of vehicles, but I mean, it doesn't really count, I think. Um, but basically, it's get ore ingots and components and use it to get other ore ingots and components, or use the components to build things that let you get more boring is a component. So it all kind of comes down. It's a very, very tight game loop, which doesn't really provide a whole lot of choice. Oh, and then the other aspect of the game is you can go fight stuff, which is just 100% deficit, right? Because you're going to take damage, you're going to expend ammunition, and there's not really any return. By the time you neutralize something in a way to capture it, you've probably spent more in terms of uranium for your fuel burn, hydrogen burn, uranium and magnesium and other resources for ammunition, and of course whatever it takes to repair any damage you've sustained. So it's really it's combat is fun, but it's, from what I've seen, it's generally a net loss unless you get lucky and stumble upon an NPC that has like, it's very poorly defended. But yeah, so this is like a support vessel for repairing and providing ammo and fuel. Exactly. Yeah. So so that's a quick rundown on the game loop. And I know building these sorts of ships are very popular with a lot of players. I always kind of never saw the point because, unfortunately, like, I love the game, don't get me wrong. The game loop in the game, however, is so simple, and there's no real end goal. Like, the end goal is literally to create industrial capacity, whose only purpose is to increase industrial capacity. So I always kind of figured, like, a ship like this, like, I never built one because I was like, by the time I have the resources to build this, there's nothing to do with it except build this. So anyway, so the nice thing about us playing the never surrender scenario is I do have a reason for this now, because we need to stay away from the defense area while we gather resources in industry and build up our industry, and then bring it in, because once the scenario starts, there's not, you don't get much of a break to do anything useful between waves. So now it does make sense, right? We're going to build this, or I'm going to take the resources I've accumulated into, I've got a massive tunnel boring machine, convert it into some sort of large ship with plenty of storage for both parts and fuel, and then jump it into the area. And that's what some of the other players are going to do as well. So that provides a logistic support. And then we're also going to build our combat ships, and so we can actually play the scenario. And then this will be where we return to when we get damaged or need fuel and ammo. So consequently, because of the kind of the default way the game is, I don't have a lot of experience building these because I've never seen the point. So it is nice that now there is a point where I am now aware of a point, and so I have an opportunity to build these, because I can't see the appeal of building these super ships. So anyway, yeah, I suck at building these things. It was kind of what it comes down to. So this is kind of I'll call it a mock-up. Absolutely nothing is conveyed. Conveyed would be to transport. Conveyor is the thing that transports. And the state of having conveyors would be conveyored. Anyway, nothing is conveyed. I just used armor blocks just everywhere, just to sort of lay out, try to get some structure. I built it piecemeal. I am not even remotely happy with it. I take that back. I think these little wings are kind of cool. That's literally it. Yeah, I did, Robert. This scenario sends out ships to attack you every few minutes. In the beginning, when you first start, it's like a 4 or 5 minute delay, and then each wave thereafter kind of goes down by about a minute, and then the number and or size of the things that attack you, the number increases, or the size of the things increase. And I think there's an element of randomness to it. So yeah, you don't have a lot of time once the scenario starts. Like in the beginning, you can have up to maybe 4 minutes, um, but you're not going to go mining. You know, you can like 4 minutes is barely enough time to get from wherever you happen to be when the last drone is destroyed to get back to the base. I find that when I've been messing around, generally I have at most 2 minutes by the time I get back to the base and I'm like ready. I have about 2 minutes to maybe jump out and do some hand welding, to do some repairs or whatever. Um, that's it. 2 minutes maneuvering large ships to, for welding platforms or the dock to get ammo or fuel is that's gonna be tricky, which is good, right? Because it instills a sense of like urgency and rushing, which means people make mistakes and you get errors, right? Like it's bad, but for the sake of the game, like it could be fun. I haven't seen it in action, but resupply being an event in itself. Yeah, I agree. What we're expecting is that, so there's about so when it started there was about 4 or 5 of us, and it's grown. So I think there's about 8 or 9 people now in the game, and I don't know, is one of the players. I think he's hosting the game. Um, this is not just a player, but oh, hello, other person who just showed up. Um, I think it was the previous episode or maybe the one before that where I was working on building stuff. Um, he mentioned that probably what we would do is kind of self organize into a couple of teams, and then that way what you could have is, the things come in and attack and we fight them, and then we have the option, or we're at least organized enough to be able to say, hey, team A, go get some repair, let's sit the next wave out, and go get repairs, fuel, and rearm, and I think that'll work really well. What I'm really curious about, that one of the key factors will be, does the scenario scale to the number of players? Because I have no idea. Hope it does. I really hope it does. So anyway, this is what I've got so far. I just don't like it, but and nothing's real. Like, part of the reason I'm just talking is and staring at this is because I'm trying to do the Zen thing where I'm like, okay, what feels wrong? What feels like it needs to be changed? Or what do I see that could be like, oh, let me make that better. And God, I swear nothing's jumping out at me. I don't like this box up top. That was like the last thing I added the last time I worked on it. And it was not, the intent was not to keep it like this. It was just to put something there so I know, oh, I probably want this to be like a habitat or something. So the fact that it's bad is acceptable because this is not anything approaching what I wanted the final shape to be. But just nothing's coming to me. So let me pop over to this other one over here. This one I went really hard on trying to lean into asymmetry. I actually built all the models separately, all the modules separately, and then slapped them together and decided to change how I did the nose. I'm not happy with any of it, but at least the shape is more interesting. So up in here, so this will be like the bridge in there, and this area with the red stripes, it's just blocked off, but these are rooms for each of the players. We do our living quarters, and then at the back here, hey, would be some way to get into the rest of the ship. And then underneath down here, I've got a bunch of assemblers, and then a bunch of refineries. And when I started this design the other day, I was talking about like, oh, I don't want to be so efficient with space. I want things to be big and spacious, and I think that gives you creative, interesting designs. And while I do think all of that is true, still, like I still think all those things are true, um, the uh, the the game has progressed in the game where I intended to build this. Um, this section originally had, I think, 8 refineries. Well, the boring machine that I've got um, in the other game has 15 refineries on it. So it's things are getting massive. So I was like, well, I don't want to downgrade when I finally build a quote base ship. For like, or a logistic, maybe I should call it like a logistics ship or something. Anyway, um, yeah, so I went back and redid other refinery section. So now it's a lot more cramped, but it at least approaches the same amount of industry that I've already got. So, because the idea, one thing I was wanted to do was I wanted whatever this is to require at least a little bit more than what I've got already. So I'm building up to this, and it's not a downgrade, because if I'm flying around asteroids, mining and collecting resources and building out industry, um, in a thing, why would I build another thing that's supposed to do all of that and more, and yet it's less capable than the thing I'm using in the first place? It just doesn't really click for me. So I ended up smushing all the different parts together and kind of slapping on thrusters here and there. I like a lot of elements of it, but overall I'm still not very happy with it. And something occurred to me yesterday as I was working on it, and that is like, while an asymmetrical designs are very interesting to look at, if the interior, and this is the case on this one, if the asymmetry of the design causes the interior to be like weird and confusing to navigate, then that's a problem. Like if you're in one spot and you're like, here I am, I'd really like to get to the bridge. I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to, like where, how do I get to the bridge? Is it up here? Boom. No. Oh, I'm at the nose now. I need to be above that. So that's another problem, right? That's the sort of thing that will annoy me to no end. So anyway, so I've got these 2 large ships that I'm kind of working on them to get the bad designs out of the way, but I'm just not super jazzed on them. No, you wouldn't be wrong at all. These are definitely not as as these are not as aesthetically pleasing as my normal builds, that's for sure. Um, and you're right. If it serves the purpose, it doesn't need to be sexy. And yeah, so I was really trying to lean into like function determines form, and just almost like like I'm trying to think of some examples, but in sci-fi, it's like there's the cool looking, like they're like fighters that basically look like jet fighters, and then they're like the hero ship, which usually looks pretty symmetrical and cool. And then they're always going to visit like space stations or giant ships that are like, there's no aerodynamics. Like they're like, this is clearly like was it like an Alien, right? Like this is clearly a refinery, like material processing type ship, right? And it's basically a mobile factory, And I think those types of designs are very interesting, and I think also I suck at them. I think also it comes down to patience. Like I've seen some of these designs people have in a workshop, and they're amazing, and I'm like, I think in my head, I'm like, oh, I want to make something like that. And then I come in here and the first thing I do is I make a cube, you know, and it just doesn't work for me. All right. So, and I think part of the problem is what tends to happen is I put down a block and then it all just goes downhill from there. No, I think what tends to happen is I tend to start out thinking, I think symmetrically is kind of like my general approach. I'll be like, oh, okay, we'll do like that, and then, you know, here. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12. 14. I said, yeah, well, I mean, they're not combat vessels. So, you know, being easy to destroy is not a concern. You know, it's like these are actually not supposed to be there. This stuff's just kind of like, I don't know, it's radiation shielding or something. It's not really, it's not intended to be like a mobile bunker, you know. So yeah, they're going to be vulnerable, and I accept that. So it's not, if I accept that as like, yeah, that's the way this thing is. It's a vulnerable thing. It's not a war. It's not a base. It's not a mobile forward operating base or whatever. It's a mobile logistics station. Then theoretically it frees me up to make focus on the function and less on like, is everything protected by armor? Although it does look a bit, I think, a bit like bunker ish, right? It's pretty heavily armored. Obviously some stuff isn't, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, definitely has weaknesses. I have no delusions about that. All right. Let's see. If I do, that'll be if we've got modules on everything. I think part of the problem for me is also that the things that the functional blocks I'm working with are much bigger than what I'm used to, right? I'm not used to like integrating lots of refineries into anything. And I would, since it's not a combat vehicle, I would like to build, but I accept that, like, I realize it's quite possible, like, this thing could get attacked by a random drone that we end up chasing kind of over towards it without meaning to or something. And if it takes a little damage, that's fine. I don't care. But I would like it to be the case that we can repair it without having to resort to shenanigans, you know, like using build and repair or admin tools or anything like that. Which means I want to be able to get to everything. So. Now we can, if I keep, where are the, oh right, they don't mirror correctly, do they? So if I keep the area between them, this vertical area here, if I keep that empty, right? Then I have a way to get to the refinery, each of the modules, and then including the same thing above. So, all right, that'll work. Hmm. And then, so nobody mentioned it in the game. I realized or I discovered that I made an assumption about what's going on in that in the game with the other players that I think is not being bore out by reality, and that is so I'm relatively new to the group, and in the first couple of sessions that we all played together, we're kind of just like we're all in a build world. An idea would be to point the speed or the upgrade modules toward the direction it could be hit, so the first rounds go into modules instead of the actual refinery. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, I'm not gonna bother, but yeah, that makes sense. You don't connect refinery cargo and tanks directly together. You use conveyors to keep lag down. Everything has to go through conveyor. Do you mean connector? Oh, hello, other people who have joined us. Very nice to see you. Oh, this. Oh, wow! I didn't even realize I was talking to a different person. Sorry, Michael. What do you mean by using conveyors? Do you mean like you don't put the refinery and cargo directly adjacent, and you use conveyor between them, or did you mean connectors? Like you have them as basically separate grids so they can work as a valve or something? I'm curious what you mean. Huh. I like those wings that I had. That other thing. And I like using the oh wait, here we go. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted. The sharper angle here and then the shallower angle in the back. I think that's a cool look. Something like that. Somehow, this is also not really doing it for me. So, the assumption that I made. So, right. So in this group, the first couple of sessions that I was in with them were basically creative worlds. People were just working on, ships. Obviously, what you do in a creative world, and as seems to happen usually, especially when there's a kind of a new person joins a group, it can turn into a bit of a like a showcase, like a show and tell. Like, hey, here's a thing I made. Oh, I've got something like that. Here, check mine out. Oh, that's cool. I like what you did there. Which is exactly what happened, and I really enjoy that. Um, and during the conversation, they're like, one of the things that I heard consistently was like that I design very differently from the way they do, and some of those differences being, I don't build as big of what the things that as what they do, right? And this was not like in a negative sense, and I was just like, red or blue or green, or like, it's just a difference. It wasn't like a judgment. So they're like, oh, okay, you tend to build at a certain scale, and we tend to build at this scale. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we were just talking about that. It was all good. So what I thought I had picked up from the conversation was that in terms of combat, we also had slightly different, like we also had different philosophies. Like I tend to go for things that are a little more maneuverable, and what I would call maybe a modest scale, and they tend to prefer like giant dreadnoughts, which both are cool. Like again, no judgment, very cool. So I'm like, oh, okay. So when we started this playthrough for Never Surrender, it's like, well, we're all gonna need combat vessels, and I'm like, okay, well, we just had an entire session where we talked about how we build combat things. So I'm like, all right, they're gonna build all these giant things. I will build something that is big for what I normally do, but is probably still going to be smaller than what they normally do. That's okay. That'll work out well because it's good to have a mix, of stuff. Let's put this there. Well, as it turns out, I don't think that's what happened at all. I think the other day, I don't know, I forget the context, but he popped up a blueprint. He was like, oh yeah, it's the thing. And I thought he was just sharing a design, but I think that's what he plans to use in the scenario. And I'm like, oh, that's not very big at all. That's actually about the size of something I would normally build. So so that the white ship that I have, I think it's going to be it might actually be one of the bigger participants, which is funny. Not at all what I expected. Boop, boop, and boop. I didn't want it in a perfect straight line. I wanted it broken up. Maybe if I do this. I forget the term, but there's I know when they're on the front, like when the wing goes, like if that end was the front, right? When the wing comes into the body, but then there's like the super slender part. I believe those are called strakes. I don't know what it is like for this thing. Actually, that end is the front, and I don't know what they're called when they're on the back. But anyway, I wanted some of those things. Do that, and let's try this. So even something like that might be right. Robert, yeah, you're right. Your wings, well, yeah, wings have no purpose in space, which is why you can get away with building a block. I will note, I have found one purpose for wings in the game, and that is to give you places to put stuff. Like for example, and I kind of realized that full on just the other day when I was building, because usually I'm like 100% like, oh, wings just look cool. I put the wings on this and it was like, now I have room to mount my thrusters. So they do provide mounting surface. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. It's 100% aesthetics. Oh, that silhouette just does not read well, does it? Ugh. That's trying really hard to look good, and it just doesn't. Let's try that. Maybe a little less is more. You know what? I think that's an improvement. It's like a fat manta ray. Space flap flap. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Robert. I don't, that's part of the reason I don't normally really go in for wings a whole lot. It's funny because just yesterday I built this. This is about the closest I have something that has wings, because this front part, actually the original concept was they were kind of like a, I guess kind of like a stealth fighter wing, right? And then it ended up being more like a horseshoe crab. Like that's just the armor, right? For the guts that are inside. Anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. Oh, this isn't even the right one. Here we go. There we go. My kitties. There we go. Boop. So this is about the size of the thing that that the other guy is going to be using in the encounter, and I'm like, oh, shit. Because so far this is my best candidate here, and it's a fair bit bigger, many more guns. So I was like, and I was really surprised, like, oh, okay, I had no idea. I don't know what anybody else is using. I haven't been to the actual area of operations where everyone's building their stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Why is that? Because what has happened is that like usual, if you join a group or faction or whatever, and a lot of times they're like, oh yeah, help yourself to resources, build what you want. And twice now they've done that, 2 separate games, and in both cases I've been like, oh, okay, and then I go and I look and I'm like, oh, if I start building what I want to build, I'm gonna not be able to build it because the resources, there's not enough here, and then 2, nobody else will be able to build anything either, and I don't want to do that to the team, so so in both cases I ended up like, oh, all right, well, the best thing I can do to be a team player is not drain all the resources. So I'll go off on my own and then collect a bunch of stuff so that I have enough for what I want to do, and then also some extra to contribute, to the group and help everyone. Which I think is a good way to, like, that makes me feel good. Like, it makes me feel like I'm actually like helping and not just being a leech. Why is this? Because that's not the right one. There we go. How about this one here? Michael, you said you like to capture and modify ships, and everything you build turns out boxy. Yeah, I hear you, man. I like doing that too. I like repurposing or refurbishing stuff from like the base game. When I first started playing, I spent a lot of time like just trying to hunt down all the different NPCs so I can make blueprints, and then build my own take on them. Let's see, to follow that line, I would need that or that. Oh, that's cool. I like that look. That's neat. That works for me. Nice big window over here. That's working for me too. Do I want this? Oh no, that won't work. Go.
Fuel critical.
lately a lot of the stuff I build has been kind of boxy as well. That's actually the, like I built that the other last night, the night before, I think. Not boxy, but then this is the thing I built prior to that, quite boxy. Um, it's a box with flair, I think, because flair as in like extra stuff, not flair as in style. uh, see what I would do normally if I was not specifically trying to build like a giant logistic ship, is I would say, this is an enrichment vessel. That is all it does, because I like to build specialized things. Say that's all it does. So at this point, I have lots of refineries, and that's it. We're going to slap a front on it, put some wings on it for style, and the room for whatever else, thrusters or whatever. Put some engines on the back, and boom, that's it. I like very specialized ships, but as I look at this and I think, I should put to accomplish what I want, I need to add cargo and fuel and O2 generators and lots of everything. It's too small. I just don't have a good eye for it yet. Stuff on the bottom. That's fine. That's fine. This is about the size of the tunnel boring machine that I have currently in the game. Roughly. I had to do it from memory. I've never taken a blueprint of it. And that game is not, it's not like on a server that's up and running all the time. This is about, of course, now the one I have in the game looks like utter garbage. Because I put there's no design. It was like, expand the drills as much as you can. All right, now build everything behind it as you need it. And I did it on purpose, just because it's a little more of server efficiency competition type mindset, because I joined that game late, and so I felt I was a little behind everyone else, and I wanted to catch up and then also be efficient so I could not be a burden. It's like a resource burden on everyone. So I thought, well, maybe I should redesign it in creative, but I don't have a blueprint, so I was trying to do it from memory. And then I realized I'd have to build it all by hand because the server doesn't have build and repair or multi-grid projector or anything. So I don't think I'm actually going to bother. I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. Let's see. Let's get rid of these so I don't think that I had made changes to them. That's my signal when I'm in a creative world. If there's something in it to me that says this design has never been saved, or in its current state has not been blueprinted, it's been blueprinted, I'll delete it. And that protects me against, one day you come in and like, that game is suddenly corrupted for some reason and can't be loaded. Then I've always got a blueprint. I'm just leaving these here though. It also keeps like the amount of junk floating around in the world to a minimum, which helps, the game. Okay. Make sure no emergencies showed up. Yeah, so just cleaning up after yourself if I'm not working on it, helps the game run better. I think I need a win. but I'm struggling. So let's go build a miner or something. Something I'm comfortable with. Here we go. I don't need any Dyson spheres. Also, hello, Luck Yeti. Man, everyone jumped out for a second, but then back in. That's nice. All right, so here's what we're doing. Let's do... Great. All right, let's get up here and oh my goodness, I need some water. Damn. That's a lot, Michael. That must be pretty cool though. I don't normally play with build and repair, which is kind of a weird thing to say since the last like 3-4 games now I've had it. But only the first one of those have I added it myself. The others have all been on servers that had it. And since it was there, I used it, but it's not something I normally use. But I should probably maybe switch to like using it 50-50, you know, like half the games have it, half don't. Because it does change the game significantly, you know, and that's a good thing, right? To make each game different and interesting. So I'm gonna go with a industrial cockpit here. I like the visibility on this. You got a lot of left, right. It's pretty good, up, down. So I'm gonna start with that. And so I'm gonna build it for mining in an area here, like where I'm building it right now. Sounds really dumb. So basically, 1.2 gravity, or like what I would call normal gravity. So one or more G, but less than say maybe 2 G or 1.5 G. So not excessively high, but not like not microgravity. With atmosphere, so we're using atmospheric thrusters, and I guess on a planet. So so that means I'll have an up down. It means also I generally won't need downward, like upward facing, like which is the right. I won't need thrusters that push me down because I have gravity for that. Build and repair are good for things in hard to reach places. Yes, absolutely. That is the thing I really feel when I go from a game that has build and repair to a game that doesn't. The biggest thing that like I feel like the biggest change that I feel is like, oh, like internal damage is now like I got to be able to get to those things to fix them, you know, or you know, like even just like if you have a big thing of armor, you don't have to like grind, deposit, grind. You just grind it all and it'll clean up for you. Like those are like the two main things that I really like feel have the greatest impact when I switch to a game that doesn't have build and repair. So yeah, I know what you mean. It's very useful. Okay, so I know what it is. So on a planet like this, even on like say Alien, it has an atmosphere. As long as there's a little bit of oxygen, you don't have to provide oxygen tanks. Oh, but you know what? Oh, I take that back because let's reload. Yes, we have small oxygen tanks now. Yes. So we're definitely going to include that. Um, so for my miners, I'm of the opinion that producing your own fuel is great for a survivability um, element, like for improved survivability. Like if you're on something that goes a very long way and is not going to have direct access to logistic support, like your base, for example, being able to produce your own fuel with like an O2 H2 generator and having fuel tanks and all that is or having H2 engines to generate power. That's great for super long range or like something that's supposed to operate cut off from support. But most for the miner that I'm going to build, the intent is that you're operating it from a base or some larger vehicle that can already produce hydrogen, oxygen, and power. So that means that I'm not going to include something like an O2H2 generator um, or hydrogen tanks. I'm just going to have batteries or even like a hydrogen engine. Um, I'll just have batteries, and that should be enough. Yes, I'm glad the small tanks are finally vanilla now as well. Um, yeah, that is. I don't know why it took so long to get them, but I'm so glad they're here. They're awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this now. Given everything I said about the conditions I'm building in, I guess I don't really need an O2 tank because we're in an atmosphere. I guess this will be for the case when like if there's a storm, oxygen levels can drop for a storm. Um, so I guess it's good to have a backup for air there. And I suppose thematically, even though game mechanic wise there's no real effects, but thematically you could say, well, these are here to ensure that the pilot has filtered air. So I'll go ahead and and I don't want to store ore in the cockpit, so I'm not going to conveyor that up. It's just going to be a separate system there. Uh, yes, Luck. I've written a number of scripts for the game. Yeah, I don't know what I don't. I'm trying to not really sure how deep to go into that, but yes, I've done modding and scripting both for this game. I started scripting first, um, and then once I kind of ran it, started running or understanding the limits of the scripting system and like how it's supposed to be used. And that's when I got into modding. The scripting for the game is actually the only reason. It's the only reason I even own the game. I'd seen videos on YouTube of space engineers and thought it was like really cool. But it wasn't until I finally saw a video that I understood that there were programmable blocks that actually ran code in the game that you could write in an actual like real programming language, C sharp, and I'm I'm a C sharp developer. So I was like, oh, so the skills I use every day at work, I can use in game. That is awesome. So that was like the final straw to go ahead and get the game for me. Let's do this. Let's put our power here. This just seems like a good place for power. We'll do... Oh my goodness. We'll do make a mess out of this. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Boom. There's our power. There's 2. I don't know that 2 is going to be enough, but we'll start with 2. I think I'll need 4 is usually what it takes. I'm going to... Let's put some cargo on this. I'm going to go with a large, I think. And we'll do like this. So I have a large connector on the bottom, on the top, and I'll tell you what, I'll even put an adapter up front. That's not it. There we go. So now we have a few more ports to work with, and that may come in helpful when I add the drills. All right, so there's that, and there's only the modular. Okay, so yeah, we'll go with... I wish there was an industrial version of the cargo, large cargo. All right, cool. So we're gonna do that, and I guess we'll put... Might as well put this down here. There's no reason not to. Okay, and let's see. Let's pop the drills on here somewhere. I generally go with 2 drills. I find in the early game it's kind of enough. If you're at the point where you're building a small grid mining ship and you want to put, like, honestly more than 2 drills on it, you're probably in a position where you should just build a large grid, or I don't know, or maybe I'm just fine with the rate, the collection rate of small grids and 2 small grid drills. I don't know. I've never really thought too much about it. It's just kind of been sort of a feeling that I'm like, oh, okay, you know, 2's always just been fine. So we'll put this here. And then that'll give me the chance to do some nice piping, like up over there. Do like that. 5. Boop. All right, yeah, that's pretty standard. So you try to write a script, an auto leveling platform script, but you never got it working, and then you lost the script. Yeah, I don't know if this means anything, but for what it's worth, that's I would say that's probably one of the more challenging types of scripts to write, like that, because that's basically the same complexity as, like, say, writing a hovercraft script, which are, you know, very popular, and those are extremely complex as well. Let's do this. This seems like a bit much, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how it works. Of course, over here we got blocked. Damn it. All right, well, it's still piped in. It just does not have an intake anymore. Right. So, that does give us room for some nice large engines. Put these, say, so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just build with blocks, and then I'll go back later and swap things out to, like, I-beams. The advantage is that it saves time me having to select through 8, 10 different I-beams to get the right one. and I just work on the design. The disadvantage is that, you know, sometimes those blocks, once you're done, can be hard to get to, and then sometimes you just can't be bothered to replace the things anyway. All right, this is a bit. You know what? It's fine. Absolutely fine. So I believe these use 2.4 megawatts, 2.4, and the batteries provide 4. Okay, 4. So that gives me 8, and then these two use 4.8. Okay. Yeah, you can do symmetrical building only in creative worlds or in survival worlds when you have the creative mode tools enabled. The hotkey is M to set your reflection planes, and then N toggles the feature on and off. So you cannot build in a normal survival game in with mirror tools like this. All right, I don't know. 2 is really going to be enough. But you know what? We'll try it. We'll try it and see. All right, so there are the forwards. And let's see. See, for reverse, let's put those. Two. I'll put that there. And then we'll put that one there. That's the reverse. And this is the left and the right. So we have 5 directions. We don't need downward. Goodness. There we go. All right, cool. And for miners, especially atmospheric ones, I like to put a light layer of armor, not layer, a light, a little bumpers of armor on the outmost parts. And the reason I do this is because on a space miner, it's a little less likely because in space, your ship kind of stays where you put it. But on atmosphere, your craft can drift, and it's really easy, like when you're mining, especially if you don't have like enough thrust in every direction to you know, remain stationary at every angle, which is not how I build. I feel that's overbuilding. Really think you should be flying like that for a miner. It just means that you're providing capability that you just shouldn't need. So everyone builds different. So I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just that's my philosophy on how I design miners. So anyway, if you put because of the tendency to kind of move if you're not balanced on your main thrust, you can bump into walls and stuff. So I find having a little bit of armor on the edge can be very helpful. It actually does work as like bumpers, which is kind of cool. And it doesn't take much, just a little bit. Yeah, like that. That's all you need. And thrusters tend to be kind of squishy anyway, so yeah, let's do that. Okay. So power check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are 2.4. Each of these is 0.6. So 7 is 4.2 plus 2.4. 4.2 and 2.4, that's 6.6. So 12, 13.2. And I can get 8 out of these guys. So 13.2. Yeah, I need 4 batteries. That's what I thought. Okay. So I need to add 2 more. Let's put them. Can't do that. We can do that. I don't really like that. What if we use the batteries for wings? Goodbye. All right, so we'll put them, say, here. And then we'll do, let's see, I had 3 forward, 2 lateral. Let me get this lit better. Nope. All right, whatever. So 1, 2, there's my 3 forward. Oh, I can put my 2 laterals down here. I think that'll look nice. That'd actually look better. Anything else down here? No. So I've got my, so yeah, still have my 2 reverse. Cool. So might make this like a wing strake. Here. And we'll do this one. Boop. Yeah. Cool. 2, 3, and we can do 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And we'll put this here.
Fuel critical.
2, 3. All right. That's fine. And then on the back. So now that we have some options, I don't generally like to leave conveyor ports exposed because I think they're ugly. Well, we didn't used to have a choice, but now we have all these great pieces we can use. You wish this game had the welding tool from Scrap Mechanic. I am not familiar with the welding tool from Scrap Mechanic. How does that work? All right, we need gyros. 2 is probably enough. One thing that I think is important to building a good miner is not to overbuild. For example, this could probably work with 1 gyro. 4 is probably excessive, although when it's full of 4, it may be more useful then. Put these together. And then we'll max out the power so I don't drop this. while I'm testing it. Batteries here. I don't like them having the DLC name, so we'll just do that. They're already in a group. I don't need to see that. All right, thrusters here. Thrusters and gyros. So I usually have one group that has all thrusters and gyros in it. Let's get the coloring on these things here. Let's do something kind of yellowish when we are at low power, and then at high power we want burning hot white, whitish, yellowish, whitish. So we'll do like that. There. Okay, we don't need to see any of those again. Add the gyros into the group. All right. And we don't need to see those anymore either. So you mentioned scripting. So one of the scripts I like to add to my miners is basically it's a script that scales up the power on the gyros as the craft gets heavier, so that the performance remains consistent. Because an empty grid with 4 gyros at 100% is going to be a lot more twitchy than if it was full of, say, iron ore and they're all at 100%. So I'll add that in a second here. Before I do that, first thing I want to do is see if the damn thing flies. And it should. Yay! Oh, this is super twitchy. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So come up here. So how fast you go up is also an indicator of how fast you can stop going down. Oh, there we go. We did it. How these thrusters look. Not so impressive during the day. That's okay. It's a pretty good lift. Okay, great. Test number 2. What about when it's full? And my general, what I use as kind of my like baseline is iron ore. I know that's not the heaviest. It's not the lightest either. So yeah, that's just what I normally use. So we'll boop, boop, boop. All right, so when it's full of iron ore, it can still fly. Ooh, just barely. Okay, but it can, right? And that's fine. So in the early game, you're gonna have things that are underpowered, and you're just getting by with as little as you can, right? So I think that's fine. Yeah, 4 reverse thrusters. Oh, I didn't realize I put that one on the bottom. I think that's okay. That 2 blocks of empty space, I think, is fine to prevent that thruster from damaging the drill. Cool. So,
fuel critical.
Oh, you're describing the scrap mechanic welding system. You point it at a surface on one block and click the mouse. Then you point it at another block and click, and it moves the blocks and attaches it. Oh, I see. It's like the welding pad mod, or the weld, whatever it's called, the weld pad mod. But it moves the grids as well. I see. Hey, Ramboli. Doing well. Thank you for asking. Hope you are too. Hey, I don't know. What's going on, buddy? That's a mod. The doors don't normally open like that. In my games always have a lot of aesthetic mods that don't otherwise do anything. And this is a mod that literally makes the doors open all the various cockpits. Yeah, look, I can see how that'd be really useful, especially if it moves the grids together. Okay, so I think what I'll do next then, this seems to be pretty good. Um, can fly with a full load of iron. I think the next priority is ejectors, and I will put those. I want to put them here, but and I don't think that's enough. Generally, I want 3 to 4 ejectors per drill on a grid. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, yeah, I've got a lot. As a matter of fact, I've got this is another one of my favorites. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, fine. Do it the hard way. This is another aesthetic mod I have that serves no purpose, but it sure looks cool to see that little guy rotating around. I'm doing so-so. I want you to keep being good to get out of trouble sooner. Keep at it, okay? All right, thanks, Ramboli. Yeah, I'm not sure what trouble you think I might be in, or do you know something I don't know? But I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, look, I agree. I like I like that Keen has really leaned into the modding aspect of the game. I think that is a like major element of what has kept the game alive for so long. Okay, so I think, as I said, 3 to 4 ejectors per drill. Um, Obviously, you can use fewer, but I find that if you don't have at least 3 or 4, what'll happen is you'll spend a lot of time just waiting for, like, if you picked up a bunch of stone or so whatever it is you don't want, you spend a lot of time waiting for that stuff to be ejected. So, uh, if you only have like one, and I know the reason I say that is because when I first figured out what ejectors were and why you might want them, um, I only used one, and that was exactly what I discovered. It's like, oh, I'm spending a lot of time waiting, and so I would end up like, for example, flying back to the base like with a cargo of like 70% stone when I wanted iron, and because the alternative was hovering in air, wasting flight time, waiting for the ejectors to dump the stuff I didn't want. So, okay, this isn't working. All right, I want a single sorter. There's no benefit to having more than one, and configuring multiple sorters is a pain because if you put them in a group, you cannot adjust what they sort on as a group. You have to do them individually. So I like to have only one if I can get away with it.
Fuel critical.
Oh, I'm gonna give you a like for it. Thank you, Ramboli. I appreciate that. Steam mod list. I don't know. Yeah, I do. I do. I'll I can link it here, or if you just want me to send you a DM, I can do that as well. It's not something I've really thought about sharing, but I'm not opposed to it. So yeah, if you want ejector off the rear of the cargo, could be us with that beat us with that gun, with that kid gig. I know. Okay, yeah, Ramboli, yeah, I'm good. Um, I'm I'm not sure what you're talking about. I haven't been involved in anything with a gun ever. So, but I appreciate the sentiments, and yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Um, right. So, Robert, you're saying off the back of the cargo. Hmm. Yeah, then I could use a big one, huh? I don't normally do that, but yeah, let's do that. I don't normally do that, so let's try it. Oh, goodbye, suckers. So now we're in uncharted territory because I don't really I don't know what a good ratio is here. So I'll just assume one is perfect. Let's see. Should we do like that? These look better. There we go. All right, so sorter. Do that. Ejector. And then this one I know is the ejector, right? Let's do this one first. Whitelist, and we'll do usually just set stone as a standard kind of default. All right, so toolbar yes, inventory no, terminal no, ejector no. We're going to leave that on. Collect all and throw out. Inventory and terminal no. Large cargo toolbar no, terminal no, drills yes, and then reset the name. Nope, nope, nope. That's fine. The O2 tank. I don't see a reason to have any of that. And then here, this will be for docking. All right, yes, no, and no. All right, there we go. Cool. Oh. Yeah, I think that when they put, yeah, whenever you have two drills, they look like arms to me as well. It kind of a little bit looks like a frog. I think. Yeah, naming and grouping things, especially as you're building, I think is it's definitely a thing you have to teach yourself to do. But it's so helpful. And doing it as you go, I think, is actually a lot easier than trying to do it all at the end. There are exceptions to that. Sometimes I'll do everything at the end, but there are decisions I make along the way that facilitate that. For example, if I have lights, right? I might say like, okay, I want to put like like when I first started playing the game, like I might say like, oh, I want this light. Oh, damn it, where can I put a light? Here, like it's like I want a light there, and I want one there to see around, and then this will be like my red and greens, and then I'll put one up here for docking. And so what I've done here now is I've added 1, 2, 3, 7 lights that are all the same exact type. So when I go in here to name them, if it was at the end, you got to be like, oh, all right, which one's magenta? That's a mess, right? Or be like, okay, I remember. Let's see. I was in mirror mode and I added the front left one, so that'll be these two, and then I add the one on the bottom. And see, so like you gotta remember all that. And then if at some point you're like, oh wait, no, I do want that, right? So now your numbering's all messed up, or you do like that, right? So so if you wait to the end, it can be confusing. But there are things you can do to mitigate that. For example, if you said, if I did like, oh, okay, so those are my like area lights, and then like if I used a different type of light, right? Like say I went and said, oh, those are my nav lights, and then my docking light is this, right? So now it's fine to wait to the end for that because I know they're each unique types, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, these are the area lights up front, and these are my navs, and so there's things you can do, but generally, yeah, as a general rule of thumb, I like to kind of name things as I go along, um, because yeah, it keeps you organized. Okay, so speaking of lights, we do need a light for docking at night. So I'm gonna go ahead and put one. I think I'm gonna put it here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of flare here. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 and 2. Oh, I'm not nearby. Oops. There we go. And that kind of fills in that area a little bit. So I think that's nice. I do want my navigation lights, and I'm gonna put them. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put them up here. And then for my area lights, thinking. I like these. Oh, right. I got over here. So yeah, we'll put these over here to be the area lights. I do want a docking lights. I'll put that on the side. Boop. And let's see, that gives us forward, and let's see, let's do some kind of ground lights. Oh, the way I want. There we go. Will that work? Maybe we should put them. You know what? I think that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. This is kind of just hanging off the bottom. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I think it works. Can do add a little bit of flavor. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's all right. Robert, that's interesting. You're saying one small sorter can only pass a certain amount each update. I've never run into a limit like that. What is the limit? Because I think the most I've had is probably I would say somewhere between 8 or a dozen ejectors being fed by a single sorter, and it didn't seem
Fuel.
to be limited. Is it like a higher, like what is the limit if you know it or whatever? Because I always wondered that. I wondered if that would be the case, but I've never. Or it might be the case that if you use, or is it? This is a kind of a question. I think this, if you use this here, this I think has a limit. It's probably however much it holds. But I don't use this. I set the actual ejectors themselves to drain off. And I don't, maybe that's why I've never seen a difference. I don't know. Fill me in because I don't know. I haven't seen that. All right. This seems all right. Let's paint. So I think mining craft are kind of in the category of construction vehicles. So I tend to like to paint them construction vehicle colors as a default or as like a starter. It's pretty ugly though. That's a little better. And then a lot of times I'll go back and I'll make the mechanical stuff, or the quote mechanical stuff, like the engines and whatnot. I'll make them black. Although I find that sometimes when I do this, I ended up looking with like the thing looks like, I'm like, oh, you went with a B paint scheme. So it's not always the best approach. Let's see. I like to do dark blue for the air. And let's see, we can do like red for the cockpit. And make the drills. I find I don't really have good commentary for how to paint things. I'm terrible at painting things. Well, the things I have that look halfway decent, that's like genuinely the best I can do. So you know, so it is what it is. I do believe, and granted, you keep in mind that the best I can do is poor, poor paint job. That being said, I think that when you have a reason, like if you come up with reasons for the coloring of the components, it can help. Sometimes you can go, or I can go too far, and it doesn't work out very well. But sometimes it can help. At some point a long time ago, I don't know where this came from, but I got it into my head that things that haul cargo, like conveyors and cargo containers, should be orange. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. But that's something that I do sometimes, and can sort of give you something, I guess. Whoops. Kind of suggest purpose. All right, well, we'll just go with that one then. No, that's too bright. All right, we'll reset these. And whoop. Oh, interesting. Check the amount that comes out. With 2 ejectors, each one will eject half. 4 each ejects a quarter. So 1 ejector per sorter is max efficiency. Huh. I don't know. Thanks. I really appreciate that. That's the sort of encouragement I that I need. So I really appreciate that. Thanks. That's interesting, Robert. I'm really curious. I'll have to do some experimenting. Um, whoops. Because I didn't. I'll have to go back and check some of my older designs and see how they perform, because I didn't know that. There we go. Batteries should be black. And so now I've ended up at another kind of paint scheme that I sometimes will use, where
Critical.
you start and you put everything basically like a dark color, and then only the armor will get some sort of like light color. A lot of times I'll use like hazard stripes. I'm gonna go like this, and something like that, or like that. Or maybe it should be like this, and yeah, maybe that's what I need. You do, yeah, it's good. And let's see. I think this adds a nice touch. I don't know where I doubt I came up with it on my own, but I do think it works well. We add a couple hazard panels near things that might be dangerous, like the exhaust of jet engines. Hey, I don't know. I'm up for that. I got no problems with that at all. That'd be really cool. Right there. Yeah. Let's go with a another thing I like to keep in mind. I've seen other people say this, people who really actually know what they're doing, is don't use too many colors, right? And I would say I'm on. I would say I probably crossed that threshold of using too many colors. All right, these seem like a good candidate. Whoops, a warning sign for hazard stripes. Let's get that. Get you. I don't know. I've seen a lot of suggestions about like when using color and how to mix colors up well. There's a lot to it. I think it's like anything. Like you got to learn a lot of rules, so that you know, so that when you break them, you're doing it deliberately. You know. Oops. What I meant to do. There's a yellow block down there. Damn it! And I want to paint it. There it is. All right, let's get you back orange. All right. That's better. Okay. So I think what I want to do now is I do want to add a programmable block. I'm going to put a gyro manager on. That's the script I was talking about earlier. And I think that's it. Honestly, let's put let's put my air intake back. I know I had to delete that earlier. Boop. All right, so we got that. There we go. And I think over here, the nice thing about building utility vehicle, like construction vehicle, well, like mining, I consider mining vehicles construction vehicles. The nice thing about them is like they tend to look better the more you show the crap that's inside. You know, like the more you show the mechanical bits or the functional bits. And if you just slap stuff on, like it looks fine, right? Because if you like look at like if you look at like construction vehicles, it's like, you know, the difference between like a car, like the front of a car has like headlights in it, right? And they're built in, it's aerodynamic. When you look at it like a forklift or a vehicle on a construction site, and it's like, oh, we need to be able to have light over there. Boom, we slap a light on, you know, and it's like awesome. So it's really easy to, I find it really easy to build like that. All right, I think, yeah, let's put this right behind the light. That seems like a good spot for it. And let's see, 5. Do this one. Sorry for using DLC, but you know, they're good looking. All right, let's get the thing, the hot bar. So we've got batteries, recharge on and off. We got thrusters on, thrusters off. We want to switch lock, and then we will, oh, I know that's the docking light, so we'll do on and off. And then that's that, and let's get the lights. Right, so I know this was the docking light in the back. Whoa. What was that? Oh, an unknown signal. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the headlights. Call them the area lights. Let's do floodlight area. Place the name. I really don't care what kind they are. Add a tint of blue, gives it that kind of high intensity sort of halogen work like industrial type lighting. So we'll do that. Let's see, this will be vent. It's an intake. Place the name, set it to depressurize. That's fine. Floodlight, this is docking. I'll do this one kind of a yellowish. Range doesn't need to be that far because it's on, oh no, it's on the bottom. So yeah, we'll leave that up. Give it an offset. Take it down a notch in intensity. Toolbar, yes. Terminal, no. These are the nav lights. Things that fly must have nav lights. And I believe this one is the left one. So that's not too bad. It's only 2 lights left. Oh, I may have the oh, see, look what I did here.
Fuel.
I added a docking light on the back because I was thinking this was a docking connector, and it's not. This is an ejector. And I made that mistake because I don't normally use this sorter and these large connectors for ejectors on small grids. So, all right, so let's see, we'll do. So normally I like to paint ejectors red, but since I've painted the cockpit red, it's kind of weird. So do that. All right, so yeah, right, you guys. Okay, so we'll do light, nav, left, and normally, so I went through a phase for about a year where I was like, oh, well, the left is red and the right is green, and they don't flash. And the reason I did that was because I used to make them all red and flash, because I would think of like radio antenna towers. They have the flashing red lights on it. And I was like, oh, that's very cool. And then I started learning about actual airplanes. I discovered that it's red on the left, green on the right, and they don't flash. Any flashing you see is a different set of lights that are usually right next to them, and they're called strobes, and they're white. But at a distance, it kind of makes it look like if you don't know any better, you're just kind of looking. Or, in short, if you're me and you were just looking at a plane flying at night, you'd be like, oh, I see red and green, or I see red, but it's flashing. And so anyway, I misunderstood it for a long time. And so for like the past year, I'm like, no, they don't flash, so I'm not doing it like that. However, I have now decided I'm going to make them flash anyway. And the reason is because I like the movement. I like the life. So the steady on might be more realistic, but it feels more realistic when they're not steady on. So I'll give them a slight offset so they kind of do like a left-right. Boop, boop, right there. And that is that. Cool. So second toolbar becomes drills on off, excavate on off. Put the sorter here on off. This is going to be the ore detector, which I have forgotten to add, so I'll come back and add that. And then the last will be, oh, those should not be in there. Lights, there we go. So then we need the area lights here. On off. Cool.
Fuel
All right.
critical.
So let's add an ore detector. The bottom is probably better since they have such a minuscule range. And let's add it here. So we'll make it the same color and then boop and boop. There we go. Oh, there's another mod. I don't know. Still here. Makes it spin. I like those little things. All right, here we go. And on off. There we go. So, 5. Let's get us to nighttime. Yep. That's what I need. Ore detection seems important when you're mining stuff. Oh, now those thrusters look good, don't they? Oh, yeah. Cool. And then on off and excavate on off. Perfect. I'm so glad they added that, the ability to add that, to toggle the excavation via hotbar. It's nice. We'll turn that off. Turn that off. Hey, sweetie. All right, and thrusters and gyros off and on. Cool. All right, landing light. Perfect. Here we're gonna add the programmable block on off, and now we're gonna load it. Spotlight. This is okay. Here, and we'll do that one. Cool. Don't need that. Ore detector maxed out. Nope. Nope. And yes. Dude. All right. Don't need that. Program. This is the gyro manager. All right. Edit. Browse. Gyro. And I prefer to use the one that's on Steam. All right. That way, if I find problems, I know it's a problem that on the published version, and I can go and fix them. If I always just use whatever I have local on my machine, then you know, I may not catch those issues, or I may not realize that like if I find a problem and I fix it and then I don't publish it, I may not realize that I've not published it. So it's kind of like actively always testing like the live stuff. So all right, so let's get this going. Use, so configure. So what this does is it sets the base power. This is a percentage of your gyro power. So basically it sets all your gyros at 30%. And then as the weight of the craft increases, it will scale up the gyros in power so that the way it turns and handles when it's empty feels like it's the same speed and reaction as when it's full. And it keeps you from like, oh, it's really sluggish, and then I get back to my base and then I dock and I empty everything out, and then I go to take off and I go like that because, oh, this is how fast it normally turns, but because it's now empty, I've actually just whipped this thing around and I smashed some parts off or hit part of the base. Don't ask me how I figured out that might be a handy thing to have. All right, so here we go. Here's my little starter mining vehicle. I didn't think it was much when I started out, but I think it's all right now. So for the final touches, what I'll do, I like to do is just cover up all the exposed conveyor ports. So like I can do something like this. There we go. Let's do that one. So there are those, and I can't do anything about that one. I do have these. Let's do... Tell you what, since these look like they would open to let stuff out, put one on that side. And having stuff ejecting right next to computers, probably not a good idea. So we'll just cover this with a normal panel. Boop. And then up here, we'll do the same. There. And then on the bottom, we'll put another one of these covers here. Adding a little bit of asymmetry with the details, I think it's an easy way to add a lot of character to a design. And, oh, let's see. All right, we've got that guy and that guy. And then, okay. Let's add this. This is a relatively new block. And I tend to forget that it exists. So we have the exhaust, but now we have this little flat thing. But the cool thing is it's also an exhaust. So can't really see it too well, but and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense right here. But you know what? It still looks cool. So even if I just turn it off, I think it's gonna look good. And let's just put another one of these. All right, come in here, exhaust cap, just shut it down. Just use it as a grable. We don't need this in the terminal. All right, cool. Gribble time is the best time. Yeah, I enjoy gribbling. All right, and then I name it. I have a standard nomenclature I use. So M is for mining craft. A means it's atmospheric. And then a dash. And now I'm talking and then following the dash is kind of like the mission equipment. And so this is it has 2 drills, and they are small grid. And this is actually my way of distinguishing between a small grid miner and a large grid miner. Granted, you can do shenanigans with hinges and rotors and all that to put, to mix and match like grid and drill size. It's possible. It's not something I really do a whole lot usually, but it's fine. For most cases, this works just fine. And that's it. So let's just name this. We'll call this a starter miner. Oop. Yes. Yeah, I don't know why. Building a nice miner makes me feel good. And I needed that. Oh. Ah, fuck. Oh man. I just realized I hadn't blueprinted it. I think terrain damage is turned off, which means grids can still be smashed by hitting each other, but when they hit the ground, they don't take any damage. So I got lucky just now. Yeah. All right, let's blueprint this bad boy. Huh, never noticed those 2 pipes. Cool. All right. Oop. There we go. Yeah. All right, let's turn on the sorter and then set the, so that should probably be exposed. Right, here we go. Doot. Or add. Oop. Let's see how fast this can empty, because I don't really use the large sorters and the large connectors as ejectors very often. So let's see. Oh, well, actually, I don't even know. Can I, if terrain damage is off, can I drill? Not sure I can. Oh, I can. Look at that. That's helpful. All right, let's turn this off. Wait till it's empty. Another T for the oxygen tank. 2 doors. Whoa. All right, I'm a little behind here. Oh, 2 doors in the script. You're talking about the airlocks. Got you. Got you. Huh. Flow through conveyors is always limited by our storage capacity. Interesting. Honestly, Robert, that's what I would have expected. I just have never, I guess maybe I just haven't paid close attention or not. Like, uh, I didn't know that. Because I've just never noticed it. Interesting. That is definitely what I expected. And in my initial experiences, which granted were a long time ago and before I really had a sharp eye for how the game worked, so I might have just misunderstood what I was seeing. See you, Robert. Yeah, yeah, I did stay on topic a little bit. All right. Oh, so I don't know. You said another T for the oxygen tank hides the end of the tank. Oh, let's see.
Fuel critical.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, why not? I mean, there's no reason for them to be connected. Yeah, it can't hurt. Sure. Good call. And boop. There we go. As a matter of fact, let's do this. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, very, very nice. Very good call. Thank you. All right, let's update this. Boop. And do, do, do. And here we go. All right, let's see how fast can this keep up with me drilling. Almost. Oh, that's good to know. On a small grade miner, part of the reason, or probably the entire reason I've never really used the larger connectors as ejectors is they're just so big. The little ones, I think they kind of look cool, especially if you have a cluster of them together. You know, it's kind of a neat look. And they tend to be easier to fit into different places, and of course, it gives you the opportunity to do some cool like piping and stuff. So I've never really gotten in the habit of using these large ones. It's doing a pretty good job. The ship is filling up, but it's pretty slow. So that's all right. That's cool. That's good to know. So we do so, and yeah, awesome. That was a great suggestion. So I got exposed to something I would normally do. No. Yeah, you're right. It would have looked like an R2 unit if the ore detector had been on top. All right, let's see how we are at digging holes here. Can we dig a hole that the entire ship can fit through? Yeah, looks like it. And how was it at night? Oh, we still have the landing light on. Let's turn. Whoops. Yep. Okay. That is not lights. D. 5. lights area. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. Oh, that looks I like that. That looks nice. Cool. All right. Whoop. That only works in space. Yeah, this is all right. So this is good. And we've got enough clearance to kind of be able to maneuver and do whatever we need. Let's pull this out there. I don't want that in the blueprint that I save. Okay. I think this works great. I'm really happy with this. I like making miner. I haven't made a miner in such a long time. Doop. Like a little miner. I know I'm working on a massive core miner thingy in the other game right now, but these little small I like these little small grid miners. Oh. Awesome. All right, let's get the lights back on. Oop. All right.
Fuel critical.
And let's see. Copy 10. Starter. Miner. This guy. Replace. Boop. Oh, you're still here, Robert. I thought you left. Oh, okay. Grab one of the balls of stone coming out. Huh. Interesting. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I can sort of figure this out. I feel like I probably need more controlled situation, but maybe it'll work. All right, let's do D2S. Okay, this one. All right, dash C1. That means it has one large cargo. So we'll get rid of you. All right. D2S. Oh my goodness. S. There we go. All right, let's get this guy. So he has, there we go, 5 on each side. There we go. And a little space truck looking dude. All right. Okay, so, and I believe he's using a separate sorter for each side. Yeah, he is. Okay. So you're saying the stone volume from the ejector will match the tightest restriction, which should be the sorter. Okay.
Fuel critical.
So the sorter. This is awesome. I love this. All right, inventory 64 liters. Is that what I should be using? Here we go. Boop. Boop. 60. I guess so. Okay. And then ejector. They hold the same amount. Okay. All right. So all right, they are on. Damn it. Stone. Okay. Why is that group not in here? I know why. This is why I always say you have to play with the build after you build it, because then you will discover things like, oh, the sorters are not actually on hotbar anywhere. Okay, so Sorters are on. We're gonna drill. Okay. So I see they're going in sequence.
Fuel critical.
All right, you little guys. 134, 172, 60. Okay. Huh. All right, let's try. I'm trying to think how to figure this out. Okay, I know. Let's do this. We'll collect stone first. That way we're not throttled. We know we're not throttled by the stone collection, right? Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Okay. All right, well, how's that on? Oh. Oh, what a weird decision. On, off, and clearing mode. There we go. And while we're here, we'll do sorters. On, off. Then we'll do ore detector. On, off. And we'll do lights. On, off. Okay. So, and I want to make sure we don't die. Oh yeah, I clearly never used this one. Okay. All right, so I don't want it to fall out the sky while I'm trying to do this thing. Whoops. So I'm gonna go land. So I'm not trying to oh fuck, oh shit. So I'm not trying to track these things down. All right. So here we go. And I'll turn on just the one. And I'm expecting they'll all kick one out immediately, and then I'll turn it off, right? And then the five little guys should stay there, and then I can go check their volume. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, that's the gyroscope. That's not what I want. Ejector. All right, here we go. We're gonna do on. Oh, okay. All right, so 173. So they're all 173. Okay, so then the sorter. So I want to see how much I can fit in a sorter then. You two, there. Sorters off. Inventory. All right, sorter. Oh. All right, let's do this then. Turn the ejectors off. Look at that. And then we can turn the sorters on. So now they'll fill up. Sorters. 173. Look at that. Wait. Okay, I see that the ejectors spit out the same volume that the sorter held. But all five. Okay, so that would mean
Fuel
then
critical.
can the ejectors spit out? So do they have a rate? See, I think the ejectors have a rate limit on how fast they can spit things out. So even though they spit out a full sorter amount, I think. All right, here's what we'll do. All right. On the one side, I'm going to get rid of all but one sorter. And on the other side, we'll keep all 5. Okay. And I see what you're saying, that one sorter, the volume of one sorter is the same as one ejector. Okay. Got that. So I'm thinking what I thought then. Now, so I'm starting to sort of realize what I was thinking is that the ejectors were rate limited. They can only pop it out so many times, but the ejector, I thought, the sorter, I thought could go faster. So, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, I see that. I see that the masses match. All right. So now what I'll do, I'm going to turn the sorters on, or they're already on. I'm going to turn all the ejectors on. And then it's not scientific, but I'll just kind of hang here and eyeball, and we'll see. So what I'm expecting, based on what you said, is the amount of little stones on both sides should be the same, right? If one ejector can keep up with a sorter, like if it's 1-to-1, then what's on the right should visually look about the same as what's on the left. And the difference is on the left, it's like cycling through, I guess, the ejectors. Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, let's try. This is so cool. Oh, I'm about to learn something. All right, ejectors and on. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Okay. Oh, the okay. I don't. I'm a little disappointed. I don't. I mean, no, that's not the right word. It looks to me like the sorter is not the bottleneck in this case. That's that. Oh, okay. No, actually, no, they're all 173. They're all the same. And these guys, oh, they're all the same, man. What do you think? I'm open to suggestions. Cause I've never sat down and done this. I just, I don't know, what it was, but I just kind of figured, at some point I was like, oh, okay, the bottleneck is the number of ejectors. So, is there something else maybe we should try, or maybe I've framed it wrong or incorrectly? But that was a fun experiment. I I think the bottleneck is the number of ejectors so far. Like if you got something else to try, or some other insight, hit me with it. Luck. um yeah, I'm not that was interesting. I was, yeah, I was willing to be wrong on that. But I don't think I was. But let me know. Let me know if there's something else I should try. Yeah. Oh, you never experienced it like this. Okay, I didn't expect that. Just literally like that's not how it works for me. Okay. That's interesting. Well, I don't have any mods running that affect capacity. Oh, maybe. Maybe it's the ship storage capacity multiplier. So I always use 1x for grids. I use 10x usually for the person, but I use 1x for grids. Maybe that's a factor. Yeah, no, I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you that you have different results. I'm really curious what the difference is, though. Uh, yeah, so maybe on the next, if I'll say on the next stream, but whenever you have more information, let me know. Like, this is actually really, really fun. I would love to figure out what the difference is, just out of curiosity. I think it's fascinating. So, that one is orange, and those are red. I tell you, no quality standards, just no quality standards. Yeah, by all means, man. This is I'm glad you said something, because I hadn't thought about it in literal years, and I'm very curious to see or to hear what you discover.
Fuel critical.
Let's get these guys. Doot. I use max on player and grid. So you use max cargo on player and grid. I wonder if that's relevant, So I think it's a bit late in the stream to try and restart. But the next time I get a chance, if I think of it, I'll change the game world settings and try it again. And if you get a chance, change it, if you want, and let me know. Maybe that's the difference. It doesn't make sense that would be the difference, but maybe it's the case that there is like a throughput limit, but it's much higher than, say, 5, right? And so with the higher volume, I'm not sure how to explain this. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't, obviously I'm not sure. Yeah. I have a condition keeping me in bed. I totally understand, Luck. A sleeping cat is yeah, that is absolutely going to keep you in bed. I completely understand. All right, you. So I just did this, and I think I deleted it. So we'll do that one. Sorters go here, then that, then the area lights. Oop. Whatever, it's fine. It's old, but it's fine. Batteries, torsion gyros on, off, docking, mag plate. Oh, this thing has a headlight? Oh, it does. What are these? Oh, it's those. Oh. All right, well, let's put the headlight over here then as well. That's a choice I don't like. Yeah. My designs used to be a fair bit more complicated and more fiddly as far as like the way I had my toolbars designed, and they're a lot more simple these days. And so when I run into my older designs, I like it's kind of like ew, yuck. I don't like that. All right, this is good enough. We'll turn that off. Yeah, it's fine.
Critical.
Blueprint him to update it at least a little tiny bit. This design's not even that old, but my approach to toolbar configuration has clearly changed since I made that one. Your ejector rate was limited by the sort. That is, Robert, that's weird. That's so weird. Oh, here we go. I built a small grid miner that had 8 drills, multiple ejectors. I experimented the shit out of it with ejector and sorter. My ejector's rate was limited by sorter, so I'm lost. Yeah, Robert, I 100% believe you. I don't doubt you in the least. And to be completely honest, I was surprised at the results that I just got because I assumed you were right, or what? I don't want to say it like that. Like because that implies that you're wrong now, and it's not. That's not the point. I expected to see what you described, and I'm described that I didn't. So I'm surprised that I didn't. So yeah, it's got to be something else. Could differences in throughput be affected by server settings? Maybe. Yeah. Possibly at this point. I think it's part of the reason it's confusing, right? Is because theoretically it should be consistent no matter what. But yeah, I don't know. That was a fun experiment though. Let's yeah, I can't think of anything that would be relevant. Look at this beast. Oh shit. I guess it was off. All right, here we go. Yeah, fine, whatever. Oh, I've never used this one.
Critical.
Oh shit, I've never used this one. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we won't be flying it then. That is, that is quite the beast. Oh shit, oh man. I just realized there's a giant hydrogen tank in the back. Wow, okay. Oh. I remember building this. It was in a creative world. Wow, okay. I like the way the armor is up here. I like that. This kind of arm coming down, holding the drills. Yeah, there's a lot of characteristics of this design that I like. I like the way the engines are tucked in behind the arms there. Cool. All right, anyway. Um, right. I am curious, since I finished this last night, I don't I don't know if this can fly in gravity. I'm curious if it can. By this method, you could connect to 3 or 4 connectors to unload a ship faster, even if they all connect through one sorter and yes, exactly. That's I mean that's how why I was designing the way I was. Yeah, absolutely. And why I was so curious to see to understand like what you were saying, how the sorter is actually throttling them. Um, so I just remembered I mentioned this a few minutes ago. When you implement your system, do you set your sorter to collect all, and then your ejectors are simply set to throw out all? Because if that's the case, maybe the bottleneck then does become the sorter, because it it's only like it's pulling um, from cargo into itself, and then pushing to the ejectors. So it's like one thing moving stuff, right? And the difference that I'm guessing maybe is the way I do it is I don't set collect all on the sorter at all. I don't set that. I do put collect all and throw out all on all of my ejectors. So all of them are pulling, and granted they're still pulling through the sorter, but I think at that so it may be the case that at that point the sorter, it's not it's kind of where the simulation might break down, right? Because the game is simply saying, are these ejectors connected to inventory that have the resources that the ejectors want? Yes. Oh, there is a sorter in the way, but it passes the resources. Yes. And so it moves everything through. So it's um so it's not hitting that limitation. So that's the only thing that I can that's the only specific thing I can think of, other than like, oh, maybe it's a server setting, right? I don't know. I'm not on a server. Um, but maybe something like that is what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, Robert, let me know what you find. This is absolutely fascinating. What a tiny little piece of minutia in the game, but so interesting. It's so interesting. Uh-oh. Can I get into this before it falls to the ground? If I throw it up, and then here, and then get inside, and then boop. Oh, nope. Oh shit. Ah, oh, very cinematic. Very nice. All right, cool. Can you hover? I think so. No, not quite. Okay. It only has the 3. There are places that a few more. Oh shit. A few more could be added, but a few more lifting thrusts could be added, but yeah, it makes me think of like a horseshoe crab. Luck, that's what I'm guessing is the difference is between the sorter pushing the stone, pulling the stone and then pushing it to the ejectors versus the ejectors pulling. Um, and the sorter not having push pull enabled at all. That's my guess. But it's just a guess. All right, well, it's got enough thrust to actually get off the planet if you can point it upward. That's cool. And I don't think this one has the thrust, but I've been curious to find out. So let's see, up here. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There we go. 2,000 feet. All right, cool. Oh, we're slowing down, but not very quickly. Oh. All right. And all right. No, it cannot. It just barely. Maybe if it was empty, because it does have all its ammunition and everything on it. Not that that's terribly heavy, but it is right on the edge. All right. Interesting. Cool. Large. The whole reason I did the experiments was for mass ejection with small ejectors. Large ejectors tend to knock your ship around when using PAM, but maybe that is the answer. PAM is the issue. That is possible if it's all good, man. Um, yeah, if Pam is moving the inventory around between storage and ejectors, then yeah, maybe that's the problem. Or maybe that's the throttle. Maybe that's actually the throttle and it's not specifically the sorter. Maybe it's the update rate on the programmable block. I don't know. Uh yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, Pam has settings for turning the ejectors on and off, so it could be the throttle issue. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That seems really plausible to me. I've never used Pam, so so I have nothing like I have no experience on that, but that sounds plausible. It may just come back to the difference between having the the programmable block manage that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I like this shiny. Oh man, that's nice. What is that? Oh, purple neon colorable lights. All right. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Robert, I'm absolutely fascinated. Yeah, definitely. Let me know what you discover. That's a really interesting discrepancy. I'm super curious to find out what you find out, or to hear what you find out. I would love to be able to make this um, a little more. What is the right term? A little more survivable in combat? No, that's not right. I would like to be able to use this as like a super long range raider almost. Let's see. So in its current configuration, this is the J-class Courier. It's a vanilla ship that I've gone through multiple iterations of upgrades on it. Yeah, robust, hardy. Yeah, in general, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Um, one of the things I like the overall style of this ship. Um, I like the giant thrusters in the back. I think it's really cool. One of the things I really like about this thing is it's so small, but it has three jump drives in it, and it's not really obvious, but I think it's really cool. Um, and in the past, I've used it as sort of a long range prospecting ship. That's why there's an order detector there, so you can jump to various asteroids, figure out what's there, make your waypoints, and then get back to base and go grab your miner and make your more deliberate trip to your destination. Um, so you're not trying to jump like it's useful if you have like really big miners that are slow as molasses and don't turn really well. Those sorts of ships I hate trying to explore with them because they're so slow, right? So using the two different ships is it's more satisfying for me. Um, that's all right, Robert. Man, that's totally cool. I mean, I had a great time trying to figure out how to do an experiment for that, and I'm glad I did it because everything that I was going on was kind of like just intuition from experience, but having like sitting down and saying like, okay, let's measure it, let's compare, let's do a side by side. Like that's awesome. Like now we have a definitive answer. At least, I guess, really more. I have a definitive answer for my system, right? And then we discovered some discrepancies, and like, dude, it's all like to me, it was a conversation. It was a great conversation. So, if it came down to being Pam because you forgot you used Pam, that's okay, man. Like, I think I think it's really cool though. Like, for me, those sorts of things, like we forget sometimes the things that we take for granted. Like earlier, I don't know if it's still here or not, but like he was like, "Hey, that cockpit door, does it always open?" I don't even see that anymore, right? But him seeing it, like it kind of re-centers you, or me anyway, right? And I love that. I totally love it. Like the whole like, oh, I didn't even realize I always take this for like I always use this mod, and that's so for me what is normal is actually not normal. In this case, it sounds like it was probably you with the PAM, and the PAM was imposing limits that you didn't realize or had gotten used to, right? So, whatever. It's not like a judgment thing. It's just like, I think that's fascinating, and I think it was a great discussion. Oh, it was really exciting. So, no need to apologize at all, man. I think it was so cool. Oh, hey, I don't know. You are still here. Oh, cool. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Luck, you've never used a jump drive. Oh, man. Yeah, get out and explore. So, anyway, with the super big miners that are hard to steer, they're not fun to prospect with. Not for me, anyway, because they're so damn slow. And you get to an asteroid, especially a big asteroid, where the ore can be kind of in the center, and you got to fly around it to find, to get close enough for your ore detector to find the deposit. Um, that's so painful to me. So I like having a ship that's more nimble and fast with an ore detector in it, so I can just like, go to this asteroid, find the thing, go to that asteroid, find the thing, right? Make your waypoint or make your GPS points, come back, and then get your big lumbering Colossus, right? Go there, get the thing, and you're done. I like playing like that, and that's generally what I have used this thing for in the past. But I would like to use this as kind of a long-range raider. So it needs a gun or two. What is Pipeworks? And I'm not sure where I could put a gun on this. I think it would have to be, oh, that is remote control. Okay. All right, that sensor just turns on the interior lights and actually also turns on the gravity. What a tiny ship to have gravity. That's so cool. All right, we'll get rid of you. Get rid of you. Okay. So the challenge of this ship is the conveyor system is actually on the bottom. It's here with these reactors, and then it comes forward a little bit, and on the one side there's a couple cargoes and like the air vent. On the other side it's just a couple cargoes. I don't think there's anything else. And then it comes to the center and extends to the back, where we get an oxygen tank, another cargo, and the connector. So the center, top, and front of the ship don't actually have any conveyor system going to them. And part of the reason is because these are half blocks, and they're actually the floor that you walk on. So when you come in to the airlock, you're walking on top of the central line for the cargo, for the conveyor, and even that block, I believe, is the conveyor system. And then you come down to the bottom layer of the ship, and you're actually walking on a half block
Fuel critical.
that extends into like where the layer that would like touch the ground. The air vent, so it's so I said the front, being a little imprecise. The air vent's right here. So yeah, that's it, and it's all it's all open, so there's no, it's all one airtight space. Survival kit. That's what is on this other side. So yeah. And then so you got a cargo, and I think Oh yeah, it's just a 2. So I think there's 6 total. So there's 2 on each side here. 1 there, and all right, maybe there's 5. I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the extent. So any guns that I might have, I'm gonna want to be on top. And the conveyor system will probably have to come up through the side, like here. So this is a T-joint, so it connects on the other side, but there is no other connection. So the actual like architecture is like a Y, right? Like an upside down Y, or if we go this way, a right side up Y, right? So you get the central stem, and then it goes to the right here, and then goes straight up. So you've got this branch on this side, and then similar on that side. So if I got rid of that reactor that I just got rid of right there, that does break the connection between this entire side. So that is not going to work. So if I wanted to come up, I would need to have a full junction, because we don't have 3-axis elbows. What is this block? Oh! Okay. All right, so we could do... So if this was a C, then we'd add some strategic pipe block. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that would get a weapon up top. Not, I don't really like that, but I don't like that because it exposes the jump drive there. Of course, it's already exposed. So we could do that. The only reason I had catwalk over them originally is because at the time I made this, we didn't have armor plates. So it's a bit weak. I mean, I guess like if I put
Fuel critical.
this is not, no, this is no good. No, this is awful. This is awful. No, 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 no. Oh God, this is Fucking awful. I think I'm behind the conversation. Think about the air vent in the front. I think I'm behind and misunderstood what you were actually asking. I don't know, saying it was in the front. It was in the front, on the outside, where the battery is. Anyway, yeah. All right, this is awful. I don't like this at all. I wish rockets didn't suck. These things sure look cool. Hmm. Yeah, I've taken a crack at redesigning this ship a few times for like a raider type role. I've yet to be successful. Remove the battery is next to where you're coming up. Okay, hang on. Remove the battery. Okay. Okay. All right, if I did that, I put my reactor back here. Four. All right, so you're saying do 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 do. Coming up small grid turrets. Well, hmm. That could work. So I think that'd actually be really cool. I don't think like I think that would be cool for defense. I don't know that a single small grid turret or even two if I did both sides would make the best for a raider. That seems hmm. I think it would look cool as hell. Let's do it. So we do that. We get that. So I think I think the ship only has two batteries, so I'll probably have to find a spot. Holy crap. No, okay. It's got plenty of batteries. Alright, so we get rid of that, and oh no, wait. Do that. And then here. Advanced rotor there. And medium head. Then
Fuel critical.
alright. Rotors, U, rotor lock, no torque, max brake, try it again. And I guess let's also, we can just, there we go. You want a half block height. Oh, right. Okay. I do like the look of the small grid turrets on large grid craft. I don't know. I don't know if you noticed this, but I used that on this ship, which you were telling me about using the small grid turrets as defense. So I did do that over here, and I really like how that looks. Yeah, I think that's a really cool trick. All right, let's see. What if we pull them down? All right, and then kill that. What block? Um, I mean that sort of hides it. It's not bad actually. What was here? This is a. Oh, that's a button panel. Oh, okay. All right. So that's actually a candidate space for replacement battery. I suppose technically so is this. So we can do that. There we go. Let's get our purple. Yeah. Hmm. I think it's really cool. I think of these as like more defensive though. I don't know. Are these going to be enough to work for like rating? Do you think? Oh, rotor. All right, we've already pulled them down. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Fuel critical.
The little tiny turrets are really cool. I do like that. I would prefer a slightly longer range weapon. But there's not much to pick from, is there? You've got that. As a matter of fact, every small grid turreted weapon. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wait a minute. All right. Well, if that's what I want, then all right, let's do that. Oh, there we go. Uh, all right, rotor. Doop, doop, and small. Look, I get where you're coming from. I avoid combat as well. I have over 8,000 hours in the game, and I'm only really just now getting into combat. I think for at least my first 5,000 hours, I didn't build any combat ships. Um, Over here, the stuff that starts with F is combat stuff, but you'll notice there is a lot of stuff. I have over 1,000 blueprints, and there's not a lot of combat stuff. None of this is combat. None of this is combat. All that. None of it's combat. And it was for the same reason. Because, yeah, repairing stuff sucks. When things get damaged, it sucks. Yeah. And then they came out with the custom turret controllers, so you could make like custom turrets, which is really awesome and really gives you, it really opens up the design and engineering aspect of the game. Unfortunately, the way the vanilla um, projectors work, there's no way if you have a subgrid turret that gets damaged, you're rebuilding the whole thing by hand and reconfiguring by hand everything, which sucks. So uh, that's why I use the multi-grid projector plugin, because until I did that, like, I didn't build custom turrets. I didn't build um, movable ramps and elevators and gates and all that crap, because I was like, oh yeah, one hit and everything you've done is destroyed. Even if the thing isn't itself completely destroyed, you'll have to rebuild it from scratch. Because a lot of times, movable stuff, you've got to build it in a certain order so that the right things are connected. And if one thing in the middle is broken, you've got to redo it all. So yeah, let's put that back out. There we go. Um, so I feel you on repairing things being not fun or easy. All right, let's do this. Hmm. How's that? Let's see. One, two. Nope. There we go. All right. Nope. This is a shame. Yeah, it sucks. Hang on. Huh. That's the same spacing that the
Fuel critical.
Gatling turret used. Gatling turret was a half block up. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that. Gatling turret's actually taller than the autocannon, even though it has the same footprint. Whoops. I hate when that happens. All right. Well, interesting. You go away. All right, something to think about. I did like the look with the Gatling turrets. Um, the only drawback to the Gatling turrets, I like to use them like here. I've used them as like anti-missile defense. I don't like to use them as offensive weapons because if you're in range with your Gatling turrets, you are in range with of all of their weapons as well, and that is that's a great way to get shot. And the way I'm not a great pilot in that sense, uh, so I will get shot a lot. And then you have the issue of repairing stuff, which Luck just mentioned. So I like Gatling turrets for defense against missiles. I don't like offensive weapons. Ah, interesting thought. Use the medium to small as the spacer. Oh, okay. I guess that's probably stronger, huh? I mean, it's got to be the same height, right? I would think. All right, spacer. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about this. It's a very good idea. So we got that. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Not artillery. Or as you noted, I can move it out here and come up, and then I have room for a large grid turret. That is also a good idea. So that would be here. Oh. All right, so we would need an elbow, and we'll do this one because that'll keep it airtight, and then we'll do this one. Yes, that was an important change. All right, and then we could do. All right. Let's see. That would have to go. Then we could put. I do like this. This is about the firepower I was looking for. Yes. Yeah. There you go, Luck. There's your custom railgun turret.
Critical.
That's how big it would be. Let's see. I think I've got. No, I thought I had some other designs saved. It doesn't look like it. They must be sitting in a build world somewhere. Rocket launcher, rocket launcher, rocket launcher. Yeah. Yeah. I had some other designs. Oh well. It's one of my better ones. I don't think that's gonna fit on here there. Luck. And funny enough, I have not been able to come up with a good railgun turret design for small grid railguns. Which yeah, funny. I think that's hilarious. I think. Here. All right, so that seems like a good spot for a flat thing. And then honestly, I think this could still work. Now let's just, there we go. That could work. And then over here, we do now have, we've got these. Actually, I mean, that could work. That might work. Maybe even like that. It's kind of yeah, I don't like it. No, I don't like that either. What about this guy? Oh, here we go. By you. No, I don't like the tiered. Like that tiered look. I appreciate your enthusiasm, Luck. Yeah, I respect that. I don't know. Are you saying Quantum Chief has some good s- custom small grid railgun turret designs? Let's see. Would this be? No, Luck. I will not do that. I think that is cheese. That is extremely cheesy. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a personal uh, preference. Oh, sure. What about something like? All right. I think that's cool. All right. So we need a piece here. So we could do this. I mean, it has a look, right? I hope that didn't come across too harsh, Luck. I was just kidding. I hope that didn't come across. No, that's terrible. Oh, right on. I don't know. Awesome. Yeah, I'll ask him about it next time. Okay. How about that? I mean, that's a look. I don't. I What can I do with this? I can do... do that. Oh, actually, I can... This will fit. This will still fit. Yeah,
Fuel
that's not
critical.
bad. Yeah, at least the firepower is there that I want. Um, I was kind of struggling with that, so yeah. Uh, jump drives are exposed, but oh, that's where all the damn batteries are. Oh, okay. Hmm. Let's see. We'll do. Oh, excuse me. Nope. That's what I want. Nope. Ugh. No. All right. There we go. Hmm. Come over here. One frame, two frame. And Martini gun. There we go. Oh, oh. Oop, oop. Yeah, those are cool looking turrets. The gun barrel arrangement is you just got to ignore that, but the rest of the turret is pretty cool looking. All right, this is good. This is the amount of firepower I wanted. So yeah, those are some great suggestions. Thank you. I don't know. Okay, let's try. I don't think this is gonna work, but let's try it. Hmm. How does that look? A little bit tanky. What? Um. Oh, that's ugly and weird. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, there's a hole in the floor. Ready? Fixed. All right. Feels a bit sluggish, but I guess that's to be expected when it's all ion. Um, I think that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that worked. Changing those pieces on the side.
Fuel
Yeah,
critical.
I'm stuck. Makes me think of like crabby claws. Hmm. Yeah. I don't know that that's improving anything. All right, I don't know. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate the suggestions. I'll see you later. Luck, yeah, there's nothing wrong with cheese. You know, everyone plays the way they want. Uh, Nothing wrong with that at all. Wait, is that the? Yeah. All right. You can delete that since there was like I hadn't really done anything to it other than install the two turrets. So I can do that if I want to explore that design direction again in the future. I can do that easy enough. All right. Yeah, I think this is I like this. I don't like the drives being the drives being exposed, but you know, no ship is perfect. Three, two, three. All right. Oops. And I'm not sure. I would like to replace at least these two for sure with these, but I'm not sure. Oh wait, I can. I can put like that. Yeah. So I go. Let's see. Um. There we go. So I can go boop and boop, and then here, move that. Oh, oh. Wait a minute. Hang on. Reactors. One. Oh, there. Yeah, there's four more. Oh, they're back here. Hey, Michael. You play with shields? Yeah. I don't like shields. I like the idea of shields. I've never seen I've never seen an implementation that I like. Um, but I fully get it. I mean, early on I played with shields as well, and I discovered very quickly that shields, as they exist in the existing mods, basically make combat come down to who can produce the most power for the longest. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna shoot you until your shields wear down. And then when they're wore down, I win. Which kind of made it not very interesting. But I 100% get the appeal of like, repairing things in the game sucks. So I totally get that. I guess I'll do that. Um, I mean, I get that. That's the whole reason I explored using shields myself. So it's like repairing stuff. That sucks. And on a PvP, like if you're doing PvP, then using shields 100% is battles generally come down to like, okay, who has the higher output, firepower output versus power generation capacity. And so you sit there and hammer on each other until the shields fall, and then someone teleports and escapes. And I don't think it's very interesting. But if it works and you're having fun, that is all that matters. So everyone plays in their own way. I'm a firm believer in that. I think these look good. Yeah. These look really good. So I'm going to put that there. I like the look of the oxygen tank behind the catwalk. So I will keep that. Yeah, yeah. Orcs are they're just brutes. Yeah. All right. And everyone plays a different way too, which I get. Like, um, some people are have a more role playing approach, right? That's kind of where I come from. I'm a little more like, I'll build a thing and I'll put a bed in it, right? Or I'll put a kitchen or whatever. Like a little more role playing approach to the game. And some people are a little more like MMO RPG, right? Where like I'm just trying to optimize a build so that I can kill the most baddies, right? And collect the resources and build a better thing, And then there's people who only like to do PvP, and people who just like to build, like just there's all different ways to play. So like I get it. I totally get it. Those different preferences are going to lead people to want to use different mods, and wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, that's nice little greeble there. I think I should put something on it. Should it be white or purple? Purple works. Yeah. Luck. Does red paint make your ship faster? Some people believe so. In certain contexts, I will advocate for red paint, and that will be the justification I will provide. I'm not sure if you're joking or not. The truth is no, right? But for goofing around, then absolutely. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, that's what I see. Like I used to be staff on a on a very large server, and they had shields, and that was like it's interesting. Like game design is like that's my profession, and it's most modders and players are not game designers, like even in any sense at all, right? Like players know what they like to do and they know what's fun. They can't necessarily tell you what's fun or what they like to do, and a lot of times they'll propose things that sound like they'll be fun to do, but they're actually going to have secondary effects that are bad for the game, and they don't know any better, right? It's not their fault. Um, and so if you get like a server that's say run by people who are at their heart players and don't have any sort of game design background, um, they're going to do things that sound cool and then actually don't work out very well. And on this particular server, um, they had a bunch of mods, right? And but among them was some shield mod. I don't know what it was. They had one of them, and they had and basically what happened was it always came down to like combat came down to the thing that I described earlier was whoever could produce the most power output the fastest, their shields would last the longest. And so in a fight, what would happen is so like every ship design ultimately became an optimization problem of how do I fit the most amount of reactors in the smallest space? How do I put the most amount of thrust on it? And how do I get the highest firepower output, right? Which is pretty obvious, like in general, right? But that's really what it came down to. So you would get all the designs that basically became bricks or brick-like, like near bricks, basically squares, right? High density of reactors, a wall of thrusters on one side, and a wall of guns on the other, and that was it. And then a cockpit shoved in somewhere, and then the fights would became ultimately like the players would shoot each other, and yeah, they'd maneuver, fly around or whatever, but they're shooting each other to wear down their shields, and as soon as someone's shield failed, they would use a jump drive to escape. And then it's like, great, I wasted 40 minutes maneuvering and fighting and wearing down your shields, and then you just left, and I've got nothing but wasted uranium, wasted hydrogen, and wasted ammo. So it's very unsatisfying. So that's, I mean, part of that is because of the way that particular, like I said, I don't remember which shield mod it was. At the time, it was like the most popular one, but I don't know if that's I think there's like 3 or 4 shield mods out there, and I don't know which one is which anymore. But that's what I saw, right? And so it's like this is how like designs that sound fun from a player perspective can sometimes lead to unexpected or unintended consequences. Because game design's complicated, and it's nobody's fault. It just is what it is. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, those little wings. Those always help. So anyway, yeah. I love the idea of shields though. When I first started playing, or not when I first started, but shortly after I started playing, I decided to, go capture some NPCs and, got my ship immediately shot to hell. And then I was like, oh, that sucked. Let's put some shields on this baby. you know? And then with the NPCs, it was kind of like, because the NPCs are like, they're pre-designed. And many of them are not designed to use shields because they don't have all the excess power output. So like the MES mod will add, like if you have the shield mod in your game, the MES mod will add shields to NPCs. It will add the blocks or whatever. But because those NPCs aren't designed to have that extra power generation, the shields are very weak, right? So I found that I was like, it didn't really, it wasn't fair. And while I'm all for not being fair in the player's favor, it was just like, I don't have a problem with things being easy, but it just didn't, I won't say it didn't feel right or anything stupid like that, but it just, I don't know, it just wasn't a good experience. So I was like, I see what's going on here. So yeah, so I'm not really a proponent of shit. Like in principle, yes, but in execution, I've never seen a good execution that I really like. So kind of like these wings here. I like the idea of having them, but I'm just not seeing anything that's working for me.
Fuel critical.
Oh, that's a Warhammer reference? I had no idea. I just picked it up from the gaming community that, red makes things go faster. And I had no idea that came from Warhammer. I never got into it. I always thought it was a cool um, universe and all that, but I never got into it, so I didn't know that. You like shields on your small ships to fight bigger ships. That's interesting. Huh. I guess that gives you the ability to take like the occasional hit and not be completely destroyed. Um, Even if it doesn't allow you to tank shots. See, that's cool. I think that's exactly the experience that is most enjoyable from a mechanic like shields, right? You don't want to be able to just, well, I can just tank everything now. So whoever tanks better wins, um, but it saves you from that accidental hit, or that one-off hit. Like if you're just taking fire, then yeah, you should be blown up. But if it's still like, it's like a glancing blow should not destroy you. So yeah, I mean that's cool if it works. It's totally cool. Hmm. These. Oh, I do have one. Okay. I like the detail of the catwalk, but I'm not sure. All right, let's go with that. I kind of like that. That way, it's not all catwalk. Yeah, like that. Hmm. For here, the only reason this is here is to give me a way to mount that. What if we did something like that? Yeah, I kind of like that. All right. Would love to do something with this nose up front here, but I've tried a few things in the past and I've never been happy. So that may be for a later date. And I'll need to update the groups because I destroyed, I think I removed all the reactors. Yeah, so the reactor group is gone. Yep, cool. Oh, and I think I need to change. One thing I like to do is when I make a new version of a ship, is I like to change the primary color. I don't know if I've been real consistent with this ship. Uh, Courier, yeah, so it's blue. Well, this is the original. That is the original. That's a neat looking little ship, isn't it? Atmospheric and ion. What a strange combination. And then Courier. Let's see. Oh, and then okay, so first version I made, yeah, this guy. So he went to dark blue and he bulked out. He hulked out. Oh, I forgot this only had one jump drive originally. I didn't realize I'm the one that added the other two. Oh, I feel so special now. That's funny. Okay. Oh, that's funny. I thought the three jump drive were part of the original vanilla design. Courier. Yeah, that's it. I've not done many iterations on this. Let's see. Let's see, brown. Oh, we've done blue, we've done purple. I don't want to do brown. Yellow is not good for a fighting ship. Oh, you know what? We can do red. That way it's fast. Place. Oh, it doesn't look very fast. Still, that'll work. All right, this guy. You. Oh. Oh, wait. Place? Yeah, off. I see. Okay. You should be there. And then you go to that one. Almost no change. Still, that's really cool. All right, that'll work. It's a little blocky in the front here, but you know what? Let's update the name. Let's find a control panel. There we go. So this is now fighter. J3 is still true. Now as T2, we're going to call this the Mark IV Raider. Keep Courier in there, I think. Yeah. All right, cool. And we're going to go ahead and blueprint that. Nice. All right, here we go. Entities. Loading. All the floating things. Go away. There's no ships. Grids. Oh yeah, forgot about that stuff. Here. All right. Let's see. I can go. All right, back where we started with the mega structures. And there's one more been added to the junk heap. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. Red is easy to, okay. I'll keep that in mind. Railguns go through shields. Huh. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Red is easy to find. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Next time I load it up, I'll look at swapping the colors or whatever. I don't generally worry too much about stealth because you got the auto lock and all that, but yeah, I'll take a look at that. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Luck, I don't know if you're still here. Michael and Robert, I think, already left. So everyone, thanks for hanging out.
Critical.
Enjoyed chatting with you, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.